Good evening, everybody. Is it afternoon? I think technically afternoon. It is a real honour to be here presenting the 45th London Critics Circle Film Awards. This is my second year presenting, which thank you. I think this means I'm still marginally cheaper than James King. So, it is a great privilege to be in the room with so many of my colleagues, as film critics with whom I've shared screening rooms over years and in some cases decades. As they will know, these are the times that I'm happiest watching films, and watching films with a bunch of film critics. If you're a film critic, it's really special. However, I am aware that, as all the critics here will know, being a critic isn't really like being a celebrity, and it is entirely possible, since we have a number of people in the audience, filmmakers, performers, actors from around the world, that they're sitting there going, "Who's that bloke?" So when I was writing this, I thought, who is that bloke? And so I decided to find out who I am. I did what any normal person would do. I Googled me. Yeah, you're all pretending you haven't Googled yourself. You have. It's called ego surfing. We've all done it. Anyway, the thing that came up was there was an article in the Evening Standard, which was last week, about our Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, and it was an article about his A-list new look. He's had a makeover. His new look apparently includes Tech Bro T-shirts, 165-pound Ferragamo ties, whatever they are, and a Mark Kermode quiff. It went on to say, also, in case anyone was wondering, no, you were not the only person to think that the Ukraine had sent a film critic to meet the UK had sent a film critic to meet the president of Ukraine. That was funnier if I didn't foul it up. So I am technically Keir Starmer's hair double, although honestly it makes a change from the two things which I had before, which is either Michael Gove or Richard Nixon. So we're here tonight to celebrate an extraordinary year of film. I do want to say to all the filmmakers here, thank you. Whatever you think of critics, and whatever you think of critics, and whatever we may have said about your work, we are all grateful, because if you didn't make that work, we wouldn't have anything to do. We wouldn't have anything to talk about. We wouldn't have anything to say. So, you know, we're like Peter Sellers in Being There. We like to watch. We could not do what it is you do, and none of us assume that we could. So, even the worst review that you've ever had, bear in mind it was written by somebody who couldn't do what you're doing, and we are all very grateful. I've been doing this for over 40 years now, and I'm in my 60s, and I was starting to worry about what possible relevance I could have with this. You know, to modern films, everything's changed so much over the years. I was born in the 60s. You know, in the 70s, I watched Planet of the Apes and Alien. You know, in the 80s, I watched Ghostbusters and Beetlejuice. In the 90s, when I was at Radio 1, I was reviewing Bad Boys and Twister. And things have changed so much. So looking at some of the best-selling pictures of 2024, it's Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and Alien Romulus, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, Beetlejuice, Bad Boys Ride or Die, and my favourite, Twister Z. So maybe not as out of touch as I thought. I do a radio show, it's now a podcast, with Simon Mayo. We do it every week, and we do this thing about running down the box office top 10, and it is true that occasionally it feels a bit like you're reading the football scores. You know, it's Despicable Me 4, Moana 2. Inside Out 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Gladiator 2, Kung Fu Panda 4. And Wicked Part 1, Nosferatu 2. I want to say that joke was written by my son, who, like me, is a huge Robert Eggers fan, and he wanted to be credited. So there we go. The thing is, it isn't all about box office. Filmmaking is about art. One of the things that happened this year, Francis Ford Coppola, who is you know, a titan of cinema, Godfather, Apocalypse Now, Peggy Sue Got Married, One from the Heart, made some of the greatest films of all time. He finally completed a movie that he had been thinking about from the 70s, from when I was watching Alien. Started thinking about it when he was doing Apocalypse Now, couldn't get it made through the 80s and 90s. Into the next century, finally got the whole thing done by privately financing it, you know, by selling some of his wineries to get the money for it so he could make exactly the film he wanted to make with no interference from anybody else. So this was the year that we finally got to see Megalopolis. But there are also some good movies released this year. There was a film critic in the UK called Barry Norman, who I think we all owe a debt to. And Barry had a phrase. He said, you know, in any given year, the percentage of good and bad movies is pretty much equal. Actually, I think this year we've had a staggering amount of good and great movies. If you just look at the kind of stuff that we're celebrating tonight, the thrilling energy of films like Anora, Kneecap, Wicked, Emilia Perez, the humanist insights of Hard Truth, Sing Sing, I'm Still Here, the cinematic poetry of Nickel Boys, All We Imagine Is Light, Dahomey, the jaw-dropping physicality of The Substance and Love Lies Bleeding, the earthy fantasia of Bird and Queer and La Chimera, the dark gothic charm of Nosferatu, the piercing tragicomedy of A Real Pain, the deft drama of The Conclave, the grand-scale ambition of The Brutalist, and the incredibly detailed stop-motion of Memoir of a Snail, Murder Most Foul. These are films that made us laugh, they made us cry, they made us gasp. They also made us think, and while they have entertained us, I think they have managed to address some very important issues, like racism, immigration, religion, gender equality, transgender identity, equal opportunities, mental health struggles, disability, discrimination, political corruption, war, peace, love, sex work. They've done all of this through a variety of genres: drama, comedy, horror, documentary, animation. I always come back to this same quote from Roger Ebert, who I think was the great film critic of his time. And Ebert said this thing that lives with me every day. He said, cinema is a machine for creating empathy. And I think the films that we're celebrating tonight are an example of how that works, that they show us the world through the lives and the eyes of others. Because of that, films, even films that may just appear to be entertainment, have the power to change the world. Now, just across the pond, I know that you've just had an election without a riot. Well done. Immediately after the election, the newly incumbent leader did this thing. He announced the appointment of 3 special ambassadors to be his eyes and ears in Hollywood, which he said is very troubled at the moment. It needs to be brought back to the great days of Gone with the Wind, when Oscar winner Hattie McDaniel had to sit at a segregated table at the Oscars because it was a segregated venue. The reason I bring this up is because regardless of your political affiliations, you have to ask, why would somebody do this so early on? Why would they pretty much start by saying 3 ambassadors to Hollywood to be my eyes and ears? The reason is this: people understand that movies matter. They understand that films have the power to change people's minds and opinions because they can show us the world through other people's eyes and ears, and everybody understands this, even people with very, very tiny minds and hands. So I think it's more important now than ever that we have filmmakers who are making the kinds of movies that we are celebrating tonight. Films that do fulfill that Roger Ebert maxim about serving as a machine for creating empathy. Filmmaking is an eye-opening art. It is not about looking back. It is about looking forward with a knowledge of the past, with a knowledge of history, but looking forward. I think the same is honestly true of film criticism. I think that when we are at our best, we are open-minded. We are open to change. We are open to new things. And incidentally, we don't get it right all the time. In fact, a lot of the time, I mean, as you probably know, we recently lost the great David Lynch. I had the great privilege of interviewing Lynch on several occasions. And I told him the first time I ever saw Blue Velvet, That film hit me so hard, I walked out. I couldn't stand it. Went back and saw it sometime later, thought it was one of the greatest films ever made. When I first saw Steven Spielberg's AI, I didn't like it at all. And then my wife, who's currently finishing a book on Spielberg, she said, "Oh, you need to see AI again, because people really speak highly of it." And I said, "I don't like it." She said, "No, I mean people I respect speak really highly of it." And you're laughing because you know it's true, love. And I went back and watched it, and I thought it was a work of genius. So we get things wrong. We get things wrong all the time. And I know from filmmakers' point of view, I'm sure it stings, but we're aware of getting things wrong. What I do know is this. Of the films that are being celebrated tonight, I love loads of them. It's an extraordinary body of work, not least because so many of them give, voice to the silence. They encourage us to see the world through other people's eyes and, in the words of Elvis, to walk a mile in their shoes. This is a tough time for filmmakers, particularly people working in the independent sector and particularly people making films that are trying to do something new and different. But I think if you look at these films, you think we're in a pretty good state. And believe me, when we get to the breakthrough categories in this year's awards, amazing talent, amazing filmmakers, amazing performers. This is where the future of the industry lies. And there is real talent in this room and real talent out there in the world. So here's a promise. If you, as filmmakers, carry on making great work, we promise to carry on celebrating it. And believe me, as a critic, if you snub something or knock something down, it's fine. The only thing you ever get into trouble about is loving something. Trying to explain to somebody why you love a film is much harder than explaining why something is wrong. And it is the thing, I think, as critics, that we all strive to do. It is the hardest thing to do, but it is the thing that we should do. So that's my promise for the way forward. I'm glad I've solved all the problems of the world in such a short period of time. To my fellow critics, I say thank you for having me again. To the filmmakers, you are most welcome. Thank you very much for making our job as enriching and fun as it is. Let's have a great late afternoon / early evening. Let's kick off with Rich Cline, Chair of the London Film Critics Circle, to get the awards rolling. Rich Cline.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, we love getting together and saying nice things about movies for a change. Thank you so much for coming out tonight, or this afternoon, or whatever it is. We're really glad to have such a great audience. We've got a lot of veterans, cinematic veterans, and a lot of rising stars. I think all of our young performer nominees are in the house, and these are people we've already got our eye on. So it's fun to be able to celebrate cinema past and present and future. My job is to thank our sponsors, because I know that we cannot organize an event like this without sponsors. Our main sponsor for the last, since 2012, is the Mayfair Hotel. This has been our home, and even during the pandemic years, we managed to do ceremonies virtually using their facilities, which it's been a really, really great partnership over the years, and we're really happy to work with them. We have a group of sponsors that are sponsoring specific awards tonight. The Met Film School, Reddit, the network of social media communities, Seesaw Media, the product placement agency, and WS Hair Pro's Imperial Collection. And we also have several in-kind sponsors, some that you've experienced already, including the people providing drinks for the reception and also the after party. There's Wild Idol, which is a non-alcoholic English sparkling wine. Gusburn, an English sparkling wine. It's delicious, by the way. Gattertop Drinks Company, which has created some film-themed cocktails for the after party. So those are things to try out. Double Dutch Mixers, which will be going into those cocktails. And Maestro Dobel Tequila and Boodle's Gin. So those are all things to look forward to. Yes. See, The cocktails always get a good round of applause, so stick around for those. And we've also got some sponsors who are providing services for us tonight. We've got DDA, which ran our media and press line downstairs, the red carpet, and they've been working with us for the whole year, really, on this project. Onlooker TV, which is the cameraman over there, who's live streaming this on YouTube right now, and you can watch it when you get home on our YouTube channel, if you want to watch it again. There's MTA Digital, which is provided the printing for the program and various things, and Excel Executive, which provided cars to bring people into the ceremony. I also want to thank our awards committee. We couldn't really do that. We have a really good group of people who work quite hard over the last couple of months putting this together, and they're doing a lot behind the scenes. So tonight, the whole point of this is to celebrate movies, and I'd like to just start looking at the 10. These are our top 10 films. These are just little images from our top. We'll see more of these later. These are the films that are up for Film of the Year. So this is our collective 10 best films of the year. And then you add in all the other film categories, like foreign language film and animated film and documentary. Then you add all the other nominees. These are just the ones that got nominated in our awards today. Obviously, as critics, we see a lot more movies than this, but these are the ones that we're looking at tonight. So, as critics, we see all of these films. It's our job, and we see a lot more, and we're just looking forward to celebrating tonight. So, it's my job to give out the very first award of the night. Supporting Actress of the Year. The nominees for Supporting Actress are Michelle Austin for Hard Truths, Danielle Deadweiler for The Piano Lesson, Margaret Qualley for The Substance, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Emilia Paris. And the Supporting Actress of the Year is Zoe Saldana for Emilia Paris.
Ay, Dios mío, ¿cómo hablar inglés ahora? I didn't have anything prepared, you guys. I wasn't expecting this, and especially now. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful to you. Thank you to the London Critics Circle for this recognition. I'm just so grateful to just be working after 20-something years of... which I can look at a millennial and a Gen Z and I think like I'm their same age, but I'm not. I appreciate this recognition. I appreciate to be in this group of people. It is hard. It is very challenging to believe in something with so much conviction that you are willing to go against the grain. And sometimes the grain can betray you, because the grain can tell you that it is the right path. But you believe in your heart and you do it. And I feel like that is the path of an artist, is to believe in what you're feeling if it's coming from a place of love and purity and knowledge and education and research and hard work. Emilia was done with so much of all of those things. So on that note, I want to thank Jacques Audiard for never allowing language to limit his curiosity, for understanding human behavior, whether that's in Sri Lanka, that lives in an Arabic Islamic world, or it lives in the world of Emilia Perez. And I want to thank my cast. When we all came together, we came with all of our luggage, all of our baggage, and we put it on the table, and we just made a lot with what we had. And something really beautiful came of it, and you saw it. So I want to thank you for seeing it. Thank you so much. And if there's one thing I want to leave you with, please be abstract with your idea of redemption. Keep your minds and your hearts open, always, and keep making art and telling your truth. Please, thank you so much.
I'd just like to say to any subsequent winners, that's a speech. So, next, to present the British-Irish short film, here's someone with a Dorothy Parker-esque turn of phrase and a sharp sense of style to match. The great Karen Kricanovic. I thought I was introducing the wrong person.
I had no idea what he was talking about there. Anyway, British-Irish short films. Now, they're not the haiku of the feature film world. They're not always calling cards either. Sometimes they are the Ding an sich, and my German is terrible. So let's get to the nominees for the British-Irish short film. We start off with Iranian Yellow Pages. Caravide. Push. We wander to wonder. And we beg to differ. And the Oscar, no, sorry, the award goes to Wander to Wonder, directed by Nina Gantz. It's you! Congratulations.
Cheers. We saw each other at the drinks.
Yes, I'm so glad you didn't get poisoned by the water. That's
yeah,
great.
thanks.
Oh, please.
Well, yeah, I'm so happy with this. You can't even imagine. We worked on this film. It's only a short stop-motion film with some live action in it, and we worked on it for 8 years. Not full-time, you know, only the last 3 were full-time, but still, with a lot of love. And I'm incredibly happy that, you know, I know this film was watched by critics and that it's been scrutinized, and I scrutinize my own work frame by frame, every single frame. And so this, sometimes you lose perspective, you know, when you watch your own film. And so this means a lot, especially here in the country that I work and I live, and I would really like to make more work. So thank you all so much for watching and, you know, appreciating it.
Just want to explain that when I was introducing Karen and I said, you know, Dorothy Parker-esque turn of phrase, and Karen literally gave me a look that was like, you've got the wrong person. So let's keep it simpler this time to avoid any further confusion, all right, Kricanovic? So to present breakthrough performer here is Jane Crowther, editor-in-chief at Hollywood Authentic and vice chair of the Critics Circle, and the person who's been holding my hand for the last week. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
It's a real pleasure to be presenting this category, because I think all of the performances in this category, we will be talking about these people for many years to come. So the nominees for Breakthrough Performer are Marisa Abella for Back to Black, Nikaya Adams for Bird, Paula Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez, Mikey Madison for Honora, and Maisie Stella for My Old Ass. And the Breakthrough Performer of the Year is Mikey Madison for Honora.
I have a piece of paper because I get very nervous. So, I also just want to say that the nominees in this category were absolutely brilliant. I'm such a fan of all of your work. Well, thank you so much. It's really such an honor to be in a room with all of these brilliant artists. So thank you to the London Film Critics Circle. And firstly, I want to thank Sean Baker, excuse me, my director, I know his name. Thank you, Sean Baker, for trusting me to play your Annie. Thank you for letting me be a part of your adventure. You are not only an absolutely brilliant, one-of-a-kind filmmaker, but a wonderful friend. I would love to make movies with you forever. To me, Honora is a film about love and respect, power, dignity, and for me, at its heart, Honora is about unlikely connections. My favorite thing about making movies is the connection, coming together to tell a story that means something to you, and creating something bigger than yourself. The costumes, the cameras, the sets, every single moment I've experienced since day one on Honora has felt like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, like I won the lottery or something. It has just always been my dream to make films, so I love it all. And at the same time, I'm sure you can't tell, but if I can be honest, it's very overwhelming. I grew up very shy, constantly searching for something more or a deeper meaning to it all. I always felt like it was harder for me to make friends or to connect, so to be in a film that explored the depths of connection in such an honest and funny and fucked up in only a way Sean Baker can pull off felt very cathartic to me. What I love and what I realized I love about acting is you get the opportunity to have all of these connections and friendships and love. You get to explore them through a character. You get to disappear into a role. So it's not me, but it's still me. I get to be the vessel for all of the adventure, all of the emotions. So if you see me staring in awe or sitting quietly in a corner or like right now, seemingly composed, even though I feel my face getting red and like a bead of sweat forming on my upper lip, just know that that is not me, but it's still me. So I feel very honored, very nervous, very happy, completely in awe. I've been acting for literally more than a decade now, so it's very nice to hear him finally breaking through. Yay! I really genuinely can't believe I'm here getting to stand in a room like this, celebrating a film I love so much. So thank you, London film critics, for recognizing my film, Honora. And also, just one more thing, I don't get to thank her as much as I'd like to, so I really want to thank my amazing dance coach, Kennedy Schneider, for teaching me everything. I was literally like Bambi on ice with vertigo spinning around that pole. So thanks, girl, for grounding me. And also, I'm endlessly sending so much love to everybody in my hometown of Los Angeles. So thank you so much for this.
Okay, next we have young British-Irish performer, which will be presented by contributing editor and columnist for Empire, Amon Warman, who is not only a fine critic and a good friend, he's a guy who knows his music and a guy who really knows how to dress.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. For the next 11 minutes, it's a real honor to be presenting this award. As Mark said in his amazing speech, the talent on display here is incredible. I'm looking forward to watching your work for a very long time. The nominees are Nikiah Adams for Bird, Rafi Cassidy for The Brutalist and Kensuke's Kingdom, Elliot Heffernan for Blitz, Dan Hoff for Speak No Evil, and Alicia Weir for Abigail, Buffalo Kids, and Wicked Little Letters. And the award goes to Nikiah Adams for Bird.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know what to say. I haven't even prepared a speech. It's honestly an honour to win in front of most of my idols here. I'm just so thankful for right now. I just want to thank Andrea, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. And if it wasn't for my mum, I definitely wouldn't be here. Thank you so much, Mum. And I just want to thank the wonderful cast and crew and my beautiful agent, Bex, for bringing me here. And I just want to say thank you to everyone. It's much appreciated. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
You skipped supporting actor.
Is that what happened?
That's what
It
happened.
was my fault.
Yeah, it should have been supporting actor.
And that's why that happened. That's okay. That's great.
That's why that happened.
Okay. I'll tell you what, if we just pretend it was like designed to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to go back. Where's the script for supporting actor? It's there, is it? Okay, well, just hold by yourself for a moment. No, Almond Woman, that's page 4. Where's page 3 then? I'll be with you in just a second, guys. Who's presenting the award? Hang on. No. Honestly, we're going to do this right because there's a whole. There it is. Oh wow! They'll fix it in post. Okay, so our next award, and that explains why it was the different thing. Fine. Our next award is for supporting actor. And to present it is a freelance journalist from Los Angeles Times and a writer who recently worked with Elton John on the book Farewell Yellow Brick Road, about which I am extremely jealous. Please welcome Emily Zemmler.
Good evening. I don't feel at all bad that I was skipped. No problem.
It's entirely my fault.
I was gonna come up here and make a joke about how I was presenting Album of the Year because it's also the Grammys, and then I realized most of you probably don't know that tonight's the Grammys, so it's probably Taylor Swift as the winner. We can all agree. Instead, I'm gonna present the award for supporting actor. It's a really amazing group of actors this year. And the nominees are Yura Borisov for Anora, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist. That was my fault that time. That's Kieran Culkin from A Real Pain. They look the same. This is going super well, no problem at all. We're gonna get it right by the end. Now, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist. Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. That's him. And Denzel Washington for Gladiator 2. And the supporting actor of the year is, I'm gonna get this one right, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain. And accepting the award for Kieran is the film's writer and director, Jesse Eisenberg.
Thank you. Hi. If you've seen Kieran accept an award, then you know if he was here, he would say something along the lines of, I was in my bathroom an hour ago, and I slipped, and I hurt my shin, and then I had a martini, and now I'm here. So what is this one? What are we doing here? So I'm glad he's not here, so I can be sincere on his behalf. The reason he is so flippant about all of this very wonderful stuff is because he is totally unpretentious and in the most beautiful way. He was like not the actor who comes to you in the morning and says, God, I was up all night just thinking about this scene. And they're bullshitting. He would say, I wasn't thinking about it. Let's do it as soon as possible because it's in me and I have to get it out and I don't want to rehearse. And it was just the most unpretentious, amazing experience as a director to see somebody who had no interest in showing you that he was great except when the camera was rolling. And it was just the most thrilling experience to sit across from him. As an actor, to see somebody so engaged, as a director, to see somebody not worried about continuity but giving me a panic attack. And as a writer, because he can memorize quickly. So this is a true honor for me as well. Thank you so much.
Just going to make sure we are where I think we are. Nope. Where are we now? Oh, I see, it's on the screen. There we are. Listen, it's easy for you guys. There's a lot of stuff going on. The next award, as you all know, because it's on the screen behind me, is for the Young British Irish Performer of the Year. We've just done that. It's for the... I'm going to explain something. Literally, I did these awards last year, okay? Seamless. It was seamless. And for about 2 hours before we went on, everyone was coming up going, after last year, it's going to be a walk in the park. And I said, all I can do is mess it up. Thank you very much. But done with love. So, the next award is for British Irish Performer of the Year. To present this award, please welcome a critic for Variety, with whom for many years I've had the great honour of sharing the film pages at The Observer. Please welcome Guy Lodge.
Just to clarify for any confusion, this is the award for the old British Irish Performer of the Year. As you'll soon see. The 5 nominees in this category all excelled in roles in 2 or even 3 films this year. So tonight we celebrate them both for being consummate practitioners of their craft and for being chronic overachievers who make all their peers look shiftless and lazy by comparison. The nominees for British Irish Performer of the Year are Cynthia Erivo for Drift and Wicked Part 1, Marianne Jean-Baptiste for The Book of Clarence and Hard Truths. Nicholas Holt for Juror Number 2, Nosferatu and the Order. Josh O'Connor for La Chimera, Challengers and Lee. And Saoirse Ronan for The Outrun and Blitz. And the British Irish Performer of the Year award goes to Saoirse Ronan for The Blitz and Outrun. Saoirse couldn't be here tonight, so she has a video message for us.
Hello to London Critics Circle. I just wanted to say thank you very, very much for this award. I'm so sorry that I couldn't be there to collect it in person, because it really does mean a lot to me to get this. And I think to be in such an amazing category with actors that I know and I love and I admire. Cynthia and Marianne and Josh and Nick, it makes it even more special and meaningful for me. Marianne in particular is someone who I've known since I was 13 years old, and I only said to her recently how she's one of a handful of people who I'll never forget for being so lovely to me when I was young, and it means an awful lot to share this category with her. It feels like a sort of full circle moment, so very special. And yeah, I feel very proud to be here or there representing Blitz and The Outrun, two wildly different films to one another. The Outrun in particular, of course, is something that I'm incredibly proud of, and I think British and Irish audiences and critics in particular have been unbelievably supportive with our film and have connected to it and loved it and taken it as their own in a way that I don't think any of us ever expected, but we only kind of dreamt of. And I really do believe that because of the reception it got at home in particular, it will just go on to have this very long and rich life, which is kind of all you can ask for when you make a film. So I feel very, very proud, and yeah, I'm sorry again that I couldn't be there, but I hope you all have a great night.
Right, we're back. Everything's safe, everything's in the right order. It's all fine. Good. So next, as you can see on screen, we have the Philip French Award for Breakthrough Filmmaker. As you may know, Philip was my predecessor at The Observer, and I took over from Philip. He'd been there for ages and ages, and when I took over from him, I learned a really important lesson, which is if you take over from somebody who's not great. Because when Philip stood down, The Observer ran a tribute to him in which all these filmmakers, 2 pages of tributes of people saying how great Philip was, including Martin Scorsese, who used the word irreplaceable. You may also know that I'm a great admirer of the Cornish filmmaker Mark Kermode. This morning when I was on the train coming in, because I live in Cornwall, he sent me a message. He said, if you're short of material, you could mention that this is the 5th year anniversary of me winning the Philip French Award. So we have a round of applause for the 5th year anniversary of Mark Kermode winning the award. So this award is kindly sponsored by Met Film. To present it, we have Hafasalis Ross, critic for Letterboxd and Little White Lies, who says, when I'm not working, you can find me next to my beloved cats, Clifford and Olive, which makes them very good in my book, and all-round industry champion and director of Met Film, Johnny Percy. Please welcome them to the stage.
Thank you, guys. I have paid Mark Kermode £200 to mention my cats. Thank you.
Thank you. As many of you know, Met Film School is a film school with 6 campuses across the UK, Ireland and Germany, as well as a producer and distributor of films. We have 18,000 graduates. And the reason why we sponsor this award is because your successes, and more critically, your journeys in this industry are present benchmarks, and your journeys demonstrate to our students the steps that they can take in their careers in the future. You inspire. That's why we're here today. And the people who we're about to nominate are people whose careers already are incredibly inspiring.
Before jumping in, I just want to say that one of the great pleasures of being a film critic, and I have so many, I still cannot believe that this is my life, is to be able to champion and to platform new voices and new filmmakers in this industry. So I'm so glad that I get to present this category today. And the nominees for the Philip French Award for Breakthrough British/Irish Filmmaker are Luna Carmoon, writer and director of Horde. Nakash Khalid, writer and director of In Camera. Amy Liptrot, writer of The Outrun. Dev Patel, writer-director of Monkey Men. And Rich Pepiat, writer-director of Kneecap.
And the winner is Rich Pepiat.
Thank you so much. I was so confident of not winning this that I sat right in the middle. There was no need to do that. Mark, thank you so much for presenting this. Is it you fancying a hat trick next year? After
I think James King is booked for next year.
Awkwardly as well for a category that is sponsored by the Met Film School. I never went to film school at all, and I think that's I just made it up as I went along, which isn't really what you want to hear, I guess. But that I remember, making Kneecap and working with Michael Fassbender. You're sitting there looking at the monitor, that's Michael fucking Fassbender, and I'm the director, aren't I? I'm like, this is crazy. And I remember, you look at who he's worked with, and it's been like Scorsese and it's Tarantino. I was like, fuck, it's a bit intimidating, this. And one day in the pub, I sort of said, Michael, can I ask you something? You've worked with all the best directors in the world. Am I doing it right? And his answer was, they all do it different, which wasn't, necessarily the answer I was looking for. I may have been looking for a compliment. It didn't come. But you know what, Michael? Here I am. So, no. Look, making Kneecap was... Kneecap is a film, but it's like a movement that encompasses activism, music, and it's been a real one of the pleasures of my life to be part of something that, in a world that we live in, that there's so much division, that Kneecap is all about celebrating diversity, about celebrating be that of language, be that of culture, and doing it in a rather fucked up, anarchic way, admittedly. But I think it is really important to have people like that in the world who are presenting a different way of doing things and just really positive role models for diversity and inclusion of all people and cultures. So look, I'd like to thank London Film Critics massively for this. It really is a massive honour. It's been, for me as a former journalist, it's been kind of mad for the last year since it premiered at Sundance, seeing, the right-wing media sometimes going after the film quite a lot, but some of our strongest reviews have come from those very papers, and I think that, so there's a compliment coming in here to film critics. Is that, I have massive respect for film critics for sort of, being without fear or favour, writing as they see it on films, and even I worked at The Guardian, and they only gave us 3 stars, so that cuts both ways. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Gramor. Guramina Margiv. Thank you.
I'd just like to say to Rich so 3 stars from The Guardian, man. I mean, stars it's a terrible thing. If you're a film critic, honestly, believe us, it drives us nuts doing the star ratings. You write 850 words in which you're doing all the nuances and all the stuff. 3 stars. Anyway, rounding out our British and Irish categories, we have the Attenborough Award for British Irish Film of the Year. This is presented by a critic and broadcaster for The Sun and Hey You Guys, who has been a great friend to me and with whom I share an ongoing and abiding love of Cornwall. Please welcome the great Linda Marrick.
Thanks. Managed to make it without falling, which is a good start. So I am just going to go for the nominees straight away. So this year, some of the best movies of the year are in this category. So I'm very, very, very proud to be presenting this. The nominations for the Attenborough Award British Irish Film of the Year are Bird, Conclave, Kneecap, Love Lies Bleeding, Hard Truth, sorry. It's okay, I hope you feel better now. And the winner is Conclave. Director Edward Berger. Congratulations.
That's lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to the London Critics Circle. And thank you, Mark. I thought your opening speech was so wonderful and inspiring.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
I didn't write that bit. I hadn't planned that bit, but it really was wonderful.
Thank you.
I have spent a large part of a very happy working life committed to the growth and strength of British film, so you can imagine how wonderful it is to be among such amazing films and filmmakers and people I truly admire and some of whom I've had the great pleasure of working with. Edward sadly can't be here tonight, so on both our behalves, I want to thank our brilliant partners at Film Nation, at the Indian Paintbrush, at Access Entertainment, and also at Black Bear. But him not being here does give me the chance to talk about him. And I do want to say what an amazing, thrilling, and fulfilling time it's been getting to know him and working with him over the last few years. His ambition and his drive, his kindness, his phenomenal work ethic, and his ability to gather and inspire the most amazing crew and cast, not least the phenomenal Rafe, who's here. Those have been the things that made our film what it is. So it's brilliant to be able to share this with them and with him. Thank you so much.
I've learned a really important lesson here, which is, don't worry about that. I've learned a very important lesson, which is if you drop the ball, people are really nice to you. So it's time for our first special award tonight, which is the Derek Malcolm Award for Innovation. Derek, as all of you will know, was a giant of film criticism. He had the most extraordinary career. He started out as a jockey, and apparently he was a very good jockey before he became a film critic. And I remember meeting him when I first started working in the industry. He was kind and generous, and he had a really kind of sort of scabrous turn of phrase, extraordinary champion of cinema. So, the Derek Malcolm Award for Innovation. To introduce this award, please welcome last year's inaugural recipient, two-time Academy Award nominee, star of the absolutely brilliant Sing Sing, and somebody who I thought me and Armin were looking pretty good until Coleman Domingo walked into the room.
I think you look pretty good.
Thank you.
Good. Everyone looks good. What a beautiful room. I was so sorry I couldn't be here last year, so I knew I had to get in this room this year. I was the proud recipient of the inaugural Derek Malcolm Award, and I'm very proud that it's being passed on to this year. Someone who uses her platform in every significant and powerful and meaningful way. The beautiful thing is, and many of my fellow artists will know that when you're on this journey of this sort of award circuit, the greatest joy is the company that you keep and the people that you meet and the artists that you admire. And you hope that you become friends. And it's less about receiving anything, because the thing you're receiving is more community. And I got to receive some of that community last year with one of my comrades, Miss America Ferrera, who uses her platform and her voice to move the needle on all of our humanity with all of her work and all of her soul. Please, America Ferrera.
Thank you, Coleman. And you win Best Dressed every time. I'm so moved to be in this room. It's so lovely to get to celebrate this work, this art that this community has made. And I could not be more thrilled to be here to present the Derek Malcolm Award for Innovation in Cinema to someone who has been a long time inspiration, the brilliantly talented Zoe Saldana. Zoe Saldana. Zoe, I don't think I've ever told you this, but I will never forget seeing Zoe for the first time 20-something years ago in her debut role in the movie Center Stage. To me, she was the movie. Your striking presence, your grace, your beauty, the beauty of your movement and your dance and your body, and of course the sheer rarity of seeing a brown Latina woman featured so boldly and confidently and impactfully in mainstream culture. And that was just the beginning for Zoe, who has gone on to blaze a tremendous trail in our industry, to innovate a path where none had existed for someone like her, someone with a great many talents and the ability to inhabit and express so many of your intersecting identities. The breadth and diversity of her career is just so impressive. An actor who has successfully and consistently combined roles in intimate, character-driven dramas with big budget action spectaculars, appearing in 4 of the highest grossing films of all time, from epic film franchises like Avatar, Guardians, and Star Trek, to independent films out of The Furnace, Colombiana, and multiple drama series like Rosemary's Baby and Special Ops Lioness. Zoe is constantly expanding her body of work with characters that reveal the boundlessness of her own depth and talent. What a thrill it is to witness her work as Rita in Emilia Perez. The courage, the boldness, the skill with which she attacks the demands of this character's emotional, musical, and physical journey. It's nothing short of deeply moving and inspiring. And of course, it would take an innovator like Zoe to create a woman like Rita, a truly original character, an amalgam of her own unique, glorious, and sometimes contradictory truths. As both an actor and a producer across many genres, Zoe is passionate about bringing diverse narratives and honest portrayals of women to the screen, a task that fundamentally requires imagination and innovation, a task Zoe has proven time and time again she is up for, and she knows how to deliver. Zoe, you are so deserving of all of your flowers and of this honor. I want to personally thank you for the decades of your beautiful work and the inspiration that you have been to me and to so many. It's a privilege to get to present you with this year's Derek Malcolm Award for Innovation in Cinema.
You just check it is. Yes, it is.
America, you're so Latina. When you say my name, Zoe, I kept being like rocked to the core because only my mom calls me like that. And it's usually not good. But this is good, this is good. When you said long, like, I'm not that old, right? Like goes back to embracing your history. I want to thank you because you're here, and I admire you. I've always admired you and respected you, both as an actor and a human being. You have a deep level of service and purpose in this world, and it truly inspires me. And you communicate with such clarity and eloquence. So I hope to be like you when I grow up. London Film Critics Circle, thank you for this honor. To be recognized for innovation in cinema and to be honored in this way is deeply fulfilling, not to mention how humbling it is to follow in the footsteps of such a towering talent as Cline Domingo. I have very little preferences in life because I'm very neutral. I'm a Gemini and can never make one choice. But I have a particular deep sentiment for Caribbean people. And Coleman is my Caribbean brother, I have to say. I've been incredibly proud to play roles that push boundaries and to throw myself into new worlds and realities. Some are more fantastic than others, and Emilia Perez was certainly the most creative challenge of my career so far. To be honest, the role of Rita scared me. But what would growth, expansion, and change be without a little pang of fear? It's overcoming the fear of change that propels growth, which is something the witty, brilliant, and discerning Derek Malcolm demanded of cinema. This award is precious to me, not only because it carries on the legacy of Derek Malcolm, but because it comes at a time when the world of cinema is evolving rapidly and the world around us is changing quickly. What I find reassuring and thrilling is that on screen, the artists and storytellers of the world, like Jacques Audiard and Netflix, are amplifying more and more stories and voices that challenge the status quo. I've always believed that the power of storytelling is to push boundaries and to be a mirror for the changes you want to see in the world. And as an artist, I never want to shy away from the tough stuff, the issues and controversies that our world grapples with. This award is a reminder that we're all a part of something greater than ourselves, something that shapes culture, challenges minds, and builds bridges between us. And it's up to us as artists to determine how best to use this remarkable gift of storytelling. This award is not just for me, It's for everyone who believes in the power of film to make a difference. Let's keep pushing forward, creating and dreaming. Thank you again for this incredible honor. I accept it wholeheartedly in furtherance of Derek Malcolm's legacy of appreciation of cinema and encouraging us all to be better on screen and off. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, on with the rest of the awards. To present the Technical Achievement Award, please welcome a film critic for TV Times, TV and Satellite Week, who recently, in his really well-written, I advise you to read it if you get a chance, review of Night Bitch, described it as a ferocious exhortation for more equitable parenting. I wish I'd written that line. Jason Best.
When it comes to film awards, voters often feel they're being asked to weigh up the relative merits of apples and oranges. For this next award, it's more like judging bananas and bazookas. This award is indeed unusual. The awards organising committee selected the nominees, choosing 10 films that are standouts in various fields, and then the entire membership voted for the winner. Right, sorry, I haven't read out the nominees yet. So, Anora for stunts. Beetlejuice for visual effects. The Brutalist for production design. A Complete Unknown for costumes. Conclave for film editing. June Part 2 for visual effects. Emilia Perez for music. Nickel Boys for cinematography. Nosferatu for cinematography. And finally, The Substance for makeup. And the Technical Achievement Award goes to Nickel Boys for cinematography by Yomo Frey. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Oh, man. Yes, as a cinematographer, I think that all of you know we are creatures of the darkness, and so these are the rare occasions where they pull us out in front of lights. So excuse me if I have any nervousness or you see me looking down at this sheet of paper here. Yeah, wow, thank you so much. Thank you to the London Film Critics Circle for recognizing this film. You've been wildly supportive of Nickel Boys. It's been really meaningful to see our work travel across borders in that way. So many of you in your reviews harnessed our intentions and conveyed them beautifully to your readers, and I'm so deeply and truly grateful for that. Much of my life has been marked and informed by your words. Our host, Mark, does not know this, but he has been an important part of my life for some time now. In 2006, Mark had an infamous interview with Werner Herzog in which Herzog was shot with an air rifle during the filming of the interview. The fact that Herzog was shot is often cited as the exciting aspect of that conversation, but to me it was something else. Later in the interview, as they're speaking, Herzog says that the poet must not avert his eyes. You have to take a bold look at what is around you, even the ugly things, even the decadent things, even the dangerous things, to which Mark tenderly asks if there is a chance of being defeated by it. Herzog pauses for a moment and thoughtfully responds, "Of course it's out there, but so what? I've done good battle. I've been a good soldier. I've been a good soldier of cinema, and that's what I want to be." The interview has always been a guiding light for me. I'm so grateful for Mark's line of questioning because it forced me to ask important questions of myself. What does it mean to be a good soldier of cinema? To be a soldier of cinema, I think, means to put your life on the line, not to take another life, but to give of your life in order to broaden the lives of others. I think it's a totally selfless process. I think it means giving of yourself, allowing your blood and your tears to seep into the image, to put your heart on the line, and to expose as much of the totality of your own humanity through the form. I believe cinema truly is a radical empathy-generating machine, as Ebert said. Through it, we can see the humanity of others, and in so doing, deepen our own humanity in the process. What we hope to do with this movie, one filmed completely from the point of view of its characters, was to create an image, or even perhaps a gateway, that invited audiences to inhabit the bodies and the souls of these boys. Is it possible to create an image that can reconstitute a life? Is there a way in which an image can bring a person back from the dead? Is it possible to create an image emotionally empathic enough that it invites the soul of the character into the bodies, into our bodies, for them to exist there for the duration of the film? And if it could be possible, what would it mean to reconstitute the lives of a set of boys who were unjustly taken from us? Some of these large and ultimately unanswerable questions were at the heart of what we tried to do with the film Nickel Boys. Whether we succeeded or not, I'm not sure I can say, but it was a film that asked me to think differently about the nature of the image, and that exploratory process has been a true highlight of my career. I believe to be asked to unlearn what we think we know about our craft is the greatest gift a director can give us. So I stand here deeply grateful for Rommel Ross, our director, for inviting me on this extraordinary journey. It is a film that will forever leave me changed as a cinematographer. And with this film, I hope, in Herzog's words, that we did good battle, that we gave of ourselves to create these images, that we were vulnerable, and through that vulnerability, that we were able to share something authentically ourselves in the process. So I want to again thank the London Film Critics Circle for this profound honor. Thank you as well to our wonderful cast who shouldered this vision with such generosity of spirit, Ethan Harisi, Brandon Wilson, and Ingenue Ellis-Taylor in particular, and to our producers, Dee Dee Gardner, Jeremy Kleiner, Brad Pitt, Dave Levine, Jocelyn Barnes, as well as the team at Orion Pictures and MGM for getting the film out in front of audiences. And I want to thank my incredible wife and partner, Rosa Gilmore, with whom all things seem possible. And to the other nominees in this category, it is such an honor to be in the mix with you. Thank you for your work and your dedication for craft. Truly, each and every single person in this category inspires me daily and constantly. So thank you very much.
I want to say on the subject of the Herzog event that you mentioned, the thing that was most remarkable about it, it was exactly as Gemma said, it was 2005, we were at the top of Lookout Mountain in LA, and I was interviewing Herzog, and he did indeed get shot, but what happened was, I was asking him about, great German, Bavarian, come to America, and he said, yes, well, in my hometown, people, I have left the paved road and no one is interested in my film. And there was this sound, it went, and his trousers exploded. Literally, the belt went, poof. And I, because I'm from Barnet, went, and Herzog, and it's on the tape, you can see it, Herzog went, someone is shooting us, we should leave. And then we got him back to his house. And I said, Werner, you've been shot. You know, oh, it is not a significant bullet. I've been shot in the jungles of Peru. This is nothing. And then sometime later, I met this. There is an end to this story. Sometime later, I met him and I was interviewing him on stage. And I said, "Did you ever get you ever go to hospital?" He said, "No, it's not." And I said, "But the thing he had," he said, "Yes, it healed up. It's fine." And I said, "Does it ever give you any pain?" He said, "No, I don't feel anything unless I laugh really profoundly, in which case I get a searing pain in my abdomen." And I've always thought that, as alongside being Keir Starmer's hair double, I will always be a searing pain in Werner Herzog's abdomen. Thank you very much. So, our next award is Animated Film of the Year. And here to present it is the chief film critic at The Independent. This is a film critic who's really good and a really good broadcaster. And she's sat in for me at the Kermode and Mayo podcast. And somebody said to me the other day, "Why don't you ever take holidays?" You know, and I said, "Well, because when I do, Clarice Lochry comes on and does it, and then we get loads of mail about how great she is and can she come back. So that's why I don't take holidays." Clarice Lochry.
Thank you. I'm very bad at taking compliments, so I'm going to be processing for a while. Thank you, though. The nominees for animated film are Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. And the animated film of the year is Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, directed by Nick Park and Merlin Crossingham. And Wallace and Gromit are in the building tonight. I feel incredibly starstruck. Look at me. There you go. Thank you so much.
Oh, Gromit's quite speechless.
Hey, aye, lad.
Hey, aye, lad. Oh, thank you. By the way, this is Merlin. We've directed the film together. So, and
Good evening.
Wow, and thank you, London Critics Circle. It's such an honour, and to be up against our nominees, that's an incredible honour too. What else?
Well, very much like the directors of photography, we spend many years in a dark space. And so to be actually allowed out and to see real people is a wonderful thing. So it's great to be here.
Most of them are made of plasticine that we're normally talking to. But yes, I mean, this is such a wonderful thing. It's our first award as well for this film. Yeah. And it's a great reflection of our amazing team of animators and crew who've put such love into the film, which I hope comes up. I think it seems to be proving to be coming off the screen. Yeah. And Mark Burton, our writer, and all the team, and Netflix and BBC.
Yes.
Big thanks.
And to the London Critics Circle, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Cheers. Thank you.
Here's what I think it is. Yep. So, to present Documentary of the Year, please welcome freelance film critic at Empire and Games Radar, who recently asked, "How do we live in a time where the Academy still hasn't recognised Hollywood's stunt community with an Oscar category?" That is a sentiment with which I wholeheartedly concur. Please welcome Kelechi Ihenulo.
Thank you, Mark. And one day it will happen. But today's not to talk about stunts. I'm here to talk about the amazing nominees for documentary. And here they are. Dahomey. Grand Theft Hamlet. Made in England, the films of Powell and Pressburger. No Other Land. And lastly, Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. And the documentary of the year is No Other Land. Now, unfortunately, they're not here today, but Basil Adra has sent us a video message.
Hello everyone, good evening. This is Basil Adra, one of co-directors of No Other Land documentary. Together with my colleagues and friends, Yuval, Rachel, Hamdan, would love to send our thankful and grateful to the London Critics Circle Award for giving the Best Documentary Award to our documentary No Other Land. It's a very important stage and very important award for us and for our movie, and shown that people cares about what's happening to us from the Israeli occupation, and people cares about our life, especially that this movie shows the decades of ongoing injustice and brutal occupation that's sitting on our land and day by day taking more and more of our lands and building more settlements and try to erase us from our homeland. So thank you again and hope you have a good evening.
Okay, next up is the award for Screenwriter of the Year. This is presented by the awards editor at Screen International. This is a journalist who I've known for many years and who is the only person who has ever been able to explain to me what box office figures actually mean. He is the guru of cinema. Please welcome Charles Gant.
Thank you, Mark, for that very kind introduction. I will be around later if you want to have an earnest conversation about the weekend numbers, which are all on my phone. I'm going to dive straight in, and the nominees for Screenwriter are Sean Baker for Honora, Brady Corbet and Mona Fastfeld for The Brutalist, Jesse Eisenberg for A Real Pain, Coralie Farjar for The Substance, and Peter Strawn for Conclave. And the award goes to Jesse Eisenberg for A Real Pain.
Thank you. It's at a time like this that I wish I was Kieran and could talk about being in the bathroom 2 hours before this started. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be included here. I'm so honored to be acknowledged like this. This is the first award I ever won as a writer. I won an award 10 years ago for a play I wrote, but I found out afterwards it was a corrupt body had given me the award in an attempt to get a grant to fill a financing gap with the play. This one feels more legit. So thank you so much to the London film critics. I am as surprised as I am honored to accept this. To be included in this illustrious community is pretty amazing. And I was watching this movie, Hard Truths, which is my favorite movie of the year. And I was realizing that by the end, what Mike Leigh has done, which has inspired me for so many years, but what he did in that movie was the exact same thing I was trying to do in my movie, which gets at a lot of what people were saying here tonight about empathy. The point of my movie was to try to bring along this character that Kieran plays that is so hard to take, that is so noxious and demanding and self-centered, and make you love him and make your heart break for him. And by the end of Hard Truths, I felt like, I felt like I was included in like the bigger art scene, because I felt like, oh, this is what somebody who's great is also trying to do. And that was validation in its own way, and it extends to being validated here by such an illustrious body of film critics. Thank you so much.
Okay, next up is the award for Foreign Language Film of the Year. This is presented by a freelance film critic for Flick Feast, Movie Marker, and New Scientist, whose biography says that she wants to, quote, show that diversity is the way forward in the entertainment industry. Again, a very, very admirable sentiment. Please welcome Katie Smith Wong.
Thank you, Mark. Good evening, everybody. It is an honour to present the award for Best Foreign Language Film, and these are all nominees that celebrate and showcase the creativity and diversity of world cinema. The nominees for Foreign Language Film are All We Imagine as Light, La Quimera, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, and finally, Kneecap. And the foreign language film of the year is All We Imagine as Light. Unfortunately, the director Bayal cannot be with us tonight, but she has sent a video message.
Hello, I'm Payal Kapadia. I'm the director of the film All We Imagine is Light. I am so sorry I could not be there with you tonight, but I wanted to thank you for voting our film the best foreign film of the year. It's really an honor. We've had such a great support from all of you critics, and that's really helped the film reach out to a larger audience, and it's been a really great journey for it, and I'm really thankful for that. So thank you very much and have a great evening.
Okay, the next award is Actor of the Year. This award is sponsored by Reddit. To present this award, we have film critic, broadcaster, and a host of a podcast, which, I told you before, I do this Kermode Mayo podcast, and, we always say, oh, we're the best podcast in the UK. We're the second best podcast in the UK. Best podcast in the UK is clearly Girls on Film. Please welcome... I said it on the record, I can't take it back. Please welcome Anna Smith.
Thank you so much, Mark. That's very sweet. So the nominees for Actor of the Year are Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothée Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, Daniel Craig for Queer, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, and Rafe Fiennes for Conclave. And the winner of Actor of the Year is Rafe Fiennes for Conclave.
Thank you, London film critics. This is a great honour. I feel very delighted to receive this, but I think in my heart I scratch my head about the concept of there being winners when you're acting. I don't know about that. I look at the wonderful work of my fellow nominees, Daniel, Adrian, Timothy, Coleman, I'm blown away. I'm moved by their artistry and the depth and the way they inhabit their characters. So I feel honoured to be included with them, among them. My thanks to Tessa Ross for her tenacity it's so fucking difficult to make an independent film. You don't know. If you do know, then you will appreciate what I'm saying. The tenacity needed to get it together and to bring it to a reality, which Tessa did. I know she was supported by Indian Paintbrush and Access and Film Nation, sorry. Nerves. And Black Bear, of course, supporting our distribution here. Thank you to them. Those entities were crucial. Tessa, you are extraordinary. I've witnessed your magnificence and your leadership of bringing this film to the screen, based on Robert Harris's wonderful book and Peter Strawn's fantastic screenplay, and crucially, our leader, Edward, who you brought to us, to the cast of Conclave. Edward's not here, but you have to know what a great human being he is. He is kind, he is diligent, he is focused, he's always there for you. His preparation is phenomenal, yet he never carries it, he never wears it on his sleeve. He feels spontaneous. I wish he was here, because I would love to give him a big bear hug and say, Your Eminence, thank you. I'd like to thank, I've been represented over the years by fantastic friends who are my agents, and they are Simon Beresford and Joel Lubin and Brian Lord, and they are the support machinery behind my working life, and I would like to thank them. And before I walk away, I would like to acknowledge my mum, who was a Catholic when I was born, a committed Catholic, and I think she would have enjoyed Conclave. I can. She had a bumpy time with the Catholic Church along the way. She was diagnosed with cancer in 1987, and in remission, she went on a pilgrimage to all the various ancient centres of pilgrimage through medieval France, ending up in Santiago de Compostela. And I wish she could have seen it, because I think ultimately she would have had a giggle. Anyway, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Right, time now for Director of the Year. This will be presented by a film critic and host of the Open to Criticism podcast, a broadcaster with whom I've had the honour of working, and I know I said this last year, Wendy, but I'll say it again, the very best voice in broadcasting. Please welcome Wendy Lloyd.
He's always putting the pressure on me. Anyway, thank you, Mark. Nominees for Best Director, they really do this year, I think, reflect the incredible innovation that we have been able to enjoy in our cinemas this year. The nominations are Sean Baker for Anora, Brady Corbet for The Brutalist, Coralie Farja for The Substance, Ramel Ross for Nickel Boys, and Denis Villeneuve for Dune Part 2. And our Director of the Year is Ramel Ross, Nickel Boys. Ramel isn't here tonight to accept the award, but on his behalf, we have, of course, cinematographer Jomo Frey, who's going to come to the stage now. Oh, and there you are.
So much. Hello again. But yes, Ramel couldn't be here tonight, but I will happily and proudly accept this in his honor. I was fortunate enough to witness Ramel's staggering vision firsthand. His precision and focus every day on set on crafting an experience he felt that was deeply evocative and awe-inspiring. We aim to employ what we called a sentient camera thinking past the POV, but aiming to create an image that brought the audience into the body of the character. It was about putting the viewer not only in the visual perspective, but in the sensual perspective with the character, which is something I had never encountered or sought to put on screen before. And so I'm grateful to Ramel for doggedly pushing to stretch and expand the cinematic image and what it can achieve. I know that Ramel would want to shout out our actors who shouldered, quite literally, this conceit throughout the film. Ethan Harisi, again, Brandon Wilson, and of course the incomparable Ingenue Ellis-Taylor. They brought such a spirit and weathered life to these roles, and nothing we were doing behind the camera would have worked without that. Our support system, again at Orion Pictures, Plan B, Anonymous Content, Leovature Films, and Amazon MGM Studio. These were big swings and bold risks, and we are just forever grateful for them for standing behind us, as well as our producer and Ramel's co-writer, Jocelyn Barnes, whose work with Ramel on the page, transferring Colson Whitehead's incredible novel to the screen, was sublime and fresh and provided such a rich groundwork. And of course, to the critics. Seeing the work uplifted by your supportive, encouraging, enlightening words has been icing on the cake for this whole experience. I thank you, and I know Ramel thanks you as well, and was so sad that he couldn't be here tonight. It really, truly, truly means so, so much, especially, you know, standing among some of the directors also nominated in this category are truly, I think, some of the great working directors today and some of the great image makers. So it means a lot. Thank you so much.
So now the award for Actress of the Year, sponsored by WS Hair Pro. Here is a colleague who it's always a pleasure to share a screening room with. Editor of Film News and brilliant critic and broadcaster Rita DeSanto, and a man in whose company I start to worry about whether or not my own hair is up to scratch. It's really thinning out. Creative director and founder of WS Hair Professionals, Walter Everest Stoyashi Ostoya.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. So the nominees for Best Actress of the Year are Marianne Jean-Baptiste for Hard Truth, Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl, Mickey Madison for Anora, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Saoirse Ronan for The Outram. And Best Actress of the Year is
the Critics Circle Film Award for the Best Actress of the Year is Marianne Jean-Baptiste.
so. Marianne is unable to join us tonight, but she has sent a video.
Thank you so much for this incredible award. I'm absolutely gutted that I can't be there in person to receive it. And coming from the London Film Critics Circle, it's all the more sweeter because, as they say, there's no place like home, so thank you for this. I also want to thank an incredible cast and crew, our backers, Media Pro, Studio Canal, Bleecker Street, Cornerstone, Film 4, and of course, Mike Lee, who has thrilled us, wrecked us, warmed us, schooled us with his incredible films over the years. Thank you so much, and drink up and have a great night. Hopefully I'll see you soon.
Okay, now it's time for Film of the Year. This is sponsored by Seesaw Media. Please welcome to present this award Hannah Strong, author and digital editor at Little White Lies magazine, and who, I said at the beginning, one of the things that film critics do like doing is reading other people's turns of phrase. In Hannah's review of Craven the Hunter. She said, in its defense, it isn't as bad as Morbius or Madam Web. So please welcome Hannah and director of Seesaw Media, Darryl Collis.
Thank you, Mark. I stand by those words. We've been talking a lot about empathy tonight in the room, and it's something that I think, as a writer, as a film critic, as an aspiring filmmaker, is always at the forefront of my mind. And everything else going on in the world, film can be a balm for the soul. It can be a reminder of our own humanity, the humanity of everyone around us. And this year, it is my great honour to present Film of the Year. We know how to do this, right?
We do, yeah.
The nominees are All We Imagine Is Light,
Honora,
The Brutalist,
La Chimera,
Conclave,
Emilia Perez,
Kneecap,
Nickel Boys,
Nosferatu,
and The Substance.
and the film of the year is
The Brutalist.
So unfortunately, Brady Corbet can't be with us tonight, but he has sent us a video message.
Hi, my name is Brady Corbet. I'm the co-writer and director of The Brutalist. And I would just like to thank the London Film Critics Circle, Universal Pictures International and Focus Features for making our film possible. I'm genuinely touched by the recognition. It means a lot to us. Thank you so much.
It's the top one. Yeah. Okay. Finally, it's time for the London Critics Circle's top honour. This is the Dilys Powell Award for Excellence in Film. Dilys Powell was one of the great film critics of our time. Those of us who were privileged enough to be in the same screening room as her, just an extraordinary ability to sit in a screening room, watch a film, come out, write something you couldn't have written in your wildest dreams. So, this is the Dilys Powell Award for Excellence in Film, and to say a few words about the recipient of this year's award, here is M himself, Ralph Fiennes.
Got a script this time.
That didn't help me.
Well, the recipient of this award is known to most of us as someone working formally for His Majesty's Secret Service. And as his former boss, I have to tell you that there is much more to this gentleman than meets the eye, as I think you will agree if you have seen his latest film, Queer. As his former boss, I have to say I was saucer-eyed watching my former agent's antics in this wonderfully provocative and moving film. For the life of me, I never imagined I could be so shaken and stirred at the same time by so much more than his penetrating gaze. As his former chief, working also on behalf of their Majesty's government, I feel that our former agent has displayed talents beyond our expectations. Dearest DC, what fun we could have had if I had known. Man crush doesn't do it justice. Seriously, though, this performance in Luca Guadagnino's film is one of the most devastating portraits of loneliness and longing I've ever seen, and rightly crowns a career of deeply inhabited performances on film and on stage. We're used to seeing Daniel Craig surrounded by explosions, but this must be the moment to recognize his all-round explosive talent that often holds its power by its vivid containment and emotional intelligence, and little comets of naughtiness along the way. Darling Dee, you are a marvel, and I salute your extraordinary talent and the integrity with which you carry it. And now please welcome the beautiful, extraordinary Leslie Manville to the stage, who I could also make a wonderful speech about, but this is not the moment. Leslie.
You could make it the moment, couldn't you? Let's try a bit harder. Daniel. Right, here we go. The word iconic is bandied around quite a lot these days, but tonight it really does feel right. It feels right for Daniel Craig to be getting the Dilys Powell Award on his home ground, a place where we celebrated him for many decades, and long before he stepped into a certain tuxedo that he was to make his own. We, of course, fell in love with him a long time ago. We watched him on television in things like Our Friends from the North, Archangel, and the brilliant Copenhagen. We loved him on stage in the National Theatre's Angels in America and A Number at the Royal Court. And he's been an adored, consistent presence on the big screen, making exquisite choices and delivering even more exquisite performances in films ranging from Sylvia, Defiance, Munich, and so many more. Whilst some would expect the scale and success of a franchise like James Bond and the immense success he had with it to change a man, it didn't with Daniel. He always had a rule: it's the script first. That drove his work. That, coupled with his choices of collaborators over the years, he didn't just land on his iconic status, he earned it. Daniel can be as seductive as the young lover in Francis Bacon in Love is the Devil, as much as be tragic as the older lover Lee in Queer. One moment he's a suave spy in a tux as James Bond, and the next he's hilarious as the dandy Benoit Blanc. He played the inhumane Connor in The Road to Perdition and found humanity as the Mossad agent carrying out the assassinations in Munich. He also delivers in performances that reflect everyday people, whether he's the painter who tenderly reacts to the vulnerable older woman in The Mother, my favorite, or the everyday man who reacts with impulsive heroism in Enduring Love. Daniel has had a profound effect on cinema. He's an old-fashioned movie star. Yes, he may at times be known as a reluctant star, but that's part of the joy of Daniel. He doesn't I'm blaming you.
It's my fault.
He doesn't expect anything. He just always wants to push boundaries and deliver the very best he can. He is as passionate as he is dedicated. I saw this for myself when we made Queer together. He leads from the front, and he fills those around him with his confidence and calm, and while some wouldn't expect it, he's always the most mischievous on set. When we finished shooting Queer, I wrapped before Daniel and Drew a few days before, and it was very late. It was about 3 a.m. We'd gone way over. Anyway, I was saying goodbye to people, and because it was my last day, and I couldn't see Daniel anywhere, and I thought, oh, right, okay, it's a bit odd, saying goodbye to everyone else. I thought, oh, well, that's it, I probably won't see him again. And I walked up the stairs of the studios at Cinecittà in Rome, and this sums him up, really. He was standing at the top of the stairs with a homemade martini. Thank you. So tonight, it gives me enormous pleasure to present this award to a man who utterly deserves to be sitting alongside previous winners, icons such as Judi Dench, Richard Harris, Albert Finney, John Hurt, and Dirk Bogarde. What a man, what an actor, what a career, and I think the best may be yet to come. Lucky us. Daniel Craig.
Jesus Christ. Thank you. I didn't know you were doing this till yesterday, so I'm just two glorious human beings, incomparable actors. Thank you for those. I'm so touched by those words. Thank you. Rafe, I've been an admirer of yours for many, many, many years, since I was a small boy. Looking at the two of you, I realize just how utterly fucking lucky I am to go to work and collaborate with people like you and all of the immensely talented people that I've had the great fortune to work with over the years. It's what inspires me, it's what gets me up in the morning. And how grateful I am for this community, for us, and the love that lies within this community, and how lucky I am. And that's really what it boils down to, isn't it, really? It's just a little bit of luck and a whole heap of love. So thank you to the London Critics Circle for this. I am deeply honoured. Thank you. Thank you.
I did an on-stage retrospective of Daniel's work at the BFI not so long ago, and he had the audience in the palm of his hand looking at his incredible body of work. And at one point there was a scene in which it wasn't speaking, it was a physical scene. And I said, you dance? And you said, you asking? And I went, all funny. It's a moment I'll treasure. So look, that's it. Thanks so much. Thank you for joining us. I really did mean it when I was saying at the beginning that I do think that the greatest thing that film critics can do is to praise the things they love, and that is harder than criticizing the things you don't like so much. I deeply respect all the filmmakers coming here, because I know sometimes being in the same room as film critics isn't the easiest thing. And certainly, I've got a newly enhanced respect for people who read things off a piece of paper. And I want to thank everybody who fluffed their paper and lines tonight just to make me feel better about the fact that I did it. Next year, it'll be James King. Thank you for having me. I'll hand back to Rich Cline now. Thank you.
fantastic. Well, that's it. I want to say thanks again to our sponsors. There they are. Their handles are all in the program, so if you post about tonight, just thank them in public too. Now, a little bit of housekeeping. We would like all the winners to leave the theater first, and so you can have some pictures taken downstairs. So would everybody please, the winners can make their way out. And everyone else stay in your seat, and we can give them a round of applause.